Hi YouTube, please give me a moment while I connect to Facebook. We'll be getting started momentarily here. Hope everybody's doing great. And like I said, we'll be getting started shortly here. I think we should actually be live on Facebook. What's up everybody? Welcome to the Strategic Swing Trader. I am Sami Abusad, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you're doing great. We're going to talk about the market. We're gonna go over some swing ideas for next week. But before we start, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss is for educational purposes only. Okay, make sure to agree to that before proceeding with today's video. If you'd like to get a copy of my free ebook, link for that is in the description below the video. I also dropped in the description of the video a list of the stocks that I'm gonna be going over today, so make sure to copy that. If you find benefit in today's video and you'd like to help support our channel, please be sure to hit the like button. If you have any questions for us, get in touch. Email us at info@t3live.com. Again, info@t3live.com. Without further ado, let's jump right in. We're gonna talk about the market first, and then we'll go over the swing ideas, okay? It's what we always do. The market had a pretty nice bounce the last few days, and if you were to ask me where I think it's headed, I have absolutely no clue. Okay, we put in a higher low right there. Okay, nice. We've retested the prior high, so we're kind of challenging the downtrend, breaking the downtrend maybe. So one higher low, and if we close above the prior pivot high, if we do, we haven't really yet closed above it. This bar's high was 296.60. So if we close above it, we will have one higher high. One higher high, one higher low. That's the beginning of the break of the beginning of the end of the downtrend. If we have two higher highs and two higher lows, that will be actually an uptrend after that. So now we're challenging the downtrend, but notice the 20 period moving average on the daily chart still declining, still pointing down. So at any day, this is every day I wake up, I mean the last couple of days, I thought, okay, any day now we could come back down. And we haven't. We stayed bullish the last 2 days basically. If the 20 MA on the daily chart of the Qs looked anything like this, you see how Tesla's 20 MA is starting to curl and point up. It flattened out first, starting to point up. Then I could feel more comfortable about the market putting on a sustainable move up. But because of that 20 MA is still completely declining, I don't have any confidence in this uptrend holding. Again, talked about a couple things. First, the 20, the slope. We talked about how we really need to close above this. Okay? And then the third thing is, even if we were to move up, how much more should you expect? Well, just to 310 on the Qs or so. That area basically. This bar's high is about 309. So even if we were to move up, I wouldn't, not at all, would I expect more than this area here to be, to retrace to that prior area of resistance, but not go above it. So again, if we close above this prior pivot high, then I would think we should reach that prior resistance around 309 or so. But we'll find out on Monday. It's not an easy market at all. I have one short, I think, and everything else is long. So I've been doing well on the way up, but without much confidence in the market, okay, because of what I just discussed, without much confidence. So we'll see. It's a little bit tricky. Okay, on to the ideas, shall we? We got, so when markets bottom, even if it's a temporary bottom, the one strategy that you will see an abundance of, you'll see a lot of setups that look the same, which is that transition A breakout, when you have basically a long-term downtrend and then price starts to reject lower prices, goes sideways, starts to, and then the 20 flattens out and starts to point up. So that's called the transition A breakout, or sometimes it's a buy setup. And on the AXDX, that's what we have. It's a transition A buy setup. If you look at the ORMP, that was a transition A pullback, and then it worked, right? So this isn't as good, because if you look at the hourly chart, it's not as good as the ORMP. The ORMP had a beautiful rounding bottom, but it's the same concept. So if you like, it's over 120, $1.20, and then target only about $1.50. Okay, on the AXDX. Not my favorite. BCAB is another one of those transition A breakouts. So I like it higher, over 410. Now, in terms of the stop, there are two places. One would be three places. Right here, under this hourly pivot. More secure, down at 360 or so. That's what I would go with. Or long term, so as to not get shaken out. If you like the stock and you say, no, I like it longer term, like to $9-10, you know, up here. So as to not get shaken out, to prevent getting shaken out, the stop can also go under the 20 MA. Okay, so that would be under about 279. Okay, on the BCAB. BHC, also kind of a transition A, over the base, stop under it. What I like about the BHC is the climactic move down. On the way down, it went climactic. So this would be, you know, the reversal. Here's another climactic, but I think I didn't put it on the list because it's too thin. TALS. It's too thin, so I didn't put it on the list. So that's a climactic move. That's looking good to me. Looks good. But it needs to take out Friday's high, 315 or so, on the TALS. So BHC we talked about. CMRA, deep pullback, but notice how it's trying to get back above the 20. This is called a buy setup. So I like it long over 285.6. Over 286. Stop under 218. Target $5 maybe. I mean up here. So it could double. CTIC was in last week's video. It already triggered, yes. It already triggered on this day. And it popped 2 days later. Had a 15% pop. That was Thursday. Friday was a narrow range bar. So now it's a 1, 2, 3. Can be played over 715 with a stop under 680. Okay, 715 by 680. Beautiful chart. CTIC. And if you got it last week, congrats. It was beautiful. Talked about it in last week's video. DBGI is another transition A. It's a penny stock. I don't like penny stocks. I am in the MF, which is another penny stock. For the second time, I tried it over here. It didn't work. That was a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. It didn't go, so I had to get out. I probably lost a little bit. Back in it. This is the same. DBGI is basically the same. That transition A breakout that we talked about. So where's the entry? Over 23 cents. 23 cents. Where's the stop? Under 18. What's the target? 50 cents. It's 48 to be exact. The gap fill. This bar's low is 48. That's the gap fill. DDL is a China stock, but the same kind of setup. Transition A breakout. Now, what I like about the DDL is that it's also on the weekly chart setting up nicely. So I like it over 615 long. Stop under 518. So it's about $1 stop. Target 1, $7. Target 2, $10 or so up here. So I like it. DQ is another China stock. Looks good as a 1, 2, 3, just like the CTIC. The CTIC is cleaner to be sure, but I like it higher, over 77.20. Stop under 71.50. That's the tightest. It's a big stop, and that's the tightest. Would be under Friday's low. So I like it. GRTS is a transition A breakout. Over, like it over 281. I'm sorry, 285. Stop under 236. Target, not too sure, around $4. The area where it broke down from. When you're looking for targets, you want to look for an area of negative memory where people got hurt, because that's when they will look to sell if prices retrace back up to their break-even point. So that the exit would be around here when it was basing, and then it started to sell off. IBM already triggered. When did it trigger? It triggered like I don't know, this day maybe, or that day. It triggered basically at least a week ago. It still didn't, it hasn't gone anywhere. And it still has a buy setup. I like the IBM, as I said, like two weeks ago or so, as a long-term trade. I feel like it's stabilized after being in a downtrend for the last 9-10 years. And now the 20 MA on the monthly is pointing up. So I personally like it, okay? So as a long-term play. And where's the entry? Just over Thursday or Friday's high, whichever is higher. Looks like they're equal, 141.33. Stop would be under the red bars low, which is 135.27. Okay, long-term play. KRNT is a gap fade. Unfortunately, it popped quite a bit already. This was a swing trade that I called short on, I don't know what day exactly, and it triggered this day, one of these days, and then it gapped down the next day. So beautiful. And now, unfortunately, it popped quite a bit already, but it could be the bottom, long-term bottom. If you look at the monthly chart, it's down so much to support. So look at Chewy, for example, which we talked about 2 weeks ago. It's already bounced 100% more. No, it's exactly 100% off the bottom. So down a lot, gaps down to support, and then, so the same with the KRNT, down a lot, gaps down to support, likely bottomed, but the issue is it's way off the bottom already, so it's hard to chase. Long over the base, stop right here or down here as a longer term play. I always like, especially big gap downs, to if they set up long. Check it out, PRAX, it's up 10x, not 10x in terms of the stock up 10 times its value at the bottom. It isn't. It's up about 100% off the bottom, slightly more maybe, but it's up 10 times the risk. It's an open position in the newsletter. Okay, it's up 10 times the risk, and we added to it. And then the same with the ATHA. So I always like big gap downs that give you a base breakout. Look at that. So long over the base, stop under it. The same with the PRAX. This one is up about 4 times the risk, I think, 4.5 maybe, and we're trailing it bar by bar. Not quite bar by bar. I'm giving it to 49, under 49 on the ATHA. So I always like that. That's my favorite setup, and that's the KRNT is that setup, but it's not as good of a setup, and it's already bounced way off the lows, like 20% off the lows, more than 20%. Lily was in last week's video, didn't go anywhere. It did trigger, but didn't really go anywhere. Still like it higher. It's at all-time high, and you have a 1, 2, 3, 4. So I like it over 335. Let's 35. Stop under 316.76 as a long-term play. Long-term play. Lily. Neo, I was in for a while, and then I got shaken out by 3 cents over here. Got back in it. So I like it, but don't love it. Over 23.28. Okay, so over this bar's high. The stop in this case would go over here, and then target is about $30, which is the declining 20 on the monthly chart. Okay, on the Neo. So over 23.28. These plays you might look at, if they don't trigger, they're not valid. So only if they trigger, only if they breach resistance or certain points that I discuss. Okay, if they don't trigger, then no harm, no foul, no play. The NTNX is similar to the BHC. I think it's slightly better. It was in a downtrend, long-term downtrend. Let me open up the daily chart. That's the primary time frame for swing trading. That's why you always see me on the daily chart. So down a lot, finally gaps down, gets bought, and is double bottomed. And now it has that transition A. So I like it over the base, whatever the highest point is. So that's 15. I think it already took it out. 15.73. Stop under 13.98 and target the gap fill about 20. Okay, on the NTNX. PLTR, not my favorite, but it's the same setup. In a long-term downtrend, finally reclaimed the 20, and the 20 is pointing up. Ideally, the better entry would have been right here, but it was not that easy. It just wasn't. It was too deep of a pullback. It just wasn't easy. Now there's another entry over Friday's high, which is 1040. Stop would be under the pivot right here, 870, or under the base, this base right here, and target maybe that prior resistance, which would be $13 for target 1. Target 2 would be about $14.75. SESN, daily base breakout, plus a 1, 2, 3 setup. So I like it over 95 cents. Tightest stop would be under 85. So it's a 10-cent stop. And target is the declining 20 on the weekly, $1.20. Oh, I'm sorry, the flat 200 on the weekly, the red line, about $1.20 on the SESN. And then last but not least, the ZM, which I was in over here, and then it got shaken out, lost on it a little bit. And now it went back up. Still looks good to me. It just needs to take out 124.05. Over 124.05, stop under 104.75. And target close to $200, that resistance area. It's also the 20 on the monthly, I believe. The 20 on the monthly is about 250 maybe, but by the time price gets up there, if it does, it'll be closer to 200, maybe even 150. So I like it, but it needs to take out 124.05. Those were the bullish ideas. Here's some bearish ideas for you. Bearish ideas are not as good. ASPN, gap down, was basing and a gap down, so that's a professional gap down. So that's not something I would want to play long. And where's the entry on it? It's under the base on the hourly chart. So if we look at the hourly chart, so it's basically under here short, stop the highs, and then target, not sure. Target 1 would be 930, maybe target 2, $8, the prior low. On the ASPN, I guess, ASPN, whatever is the name. DCT, same exact concept. It's a short, but this one I know where the target is. So short right here, stop right there, and the target is very clear. It's $14. So it doesn't have that much reward to risk. That's the problem with it. Not much, not a very high reward to risk play. IMTE is a crazy stock. You can tell by looking at the daily chart that the same players are trading it. When it goes up, I mean, it's just up, and then crashes, and then goes sideways, and then up, and then crashes, up, and then crashes. Look at the size of the bars. I mean, they look similar. You see that? So now this time around, I don't think there's gonna be an up again. I think it's gonna crash and continue lower. There's a 1, 2, 3 on it, 1, 2, 3 setup, like it under 210. Stop would be over 250. It's a 40-cent stop. And where's the target? Probably 0. Honestly, probably 0. It's a crazy stock. MG, I don't know if it's available. With where I trade, my swing account is with TradeStation, so they don't give you the hard to borrow list or the easy to borrow list until the Monday. So the shorts I can't put the orders in the system for. The longs I already have the orders in the system for. And if you're a subscriber, feel free to log on to your account and you'll see which ones I picked for Monday. Okay, long and short. Okay, so feel free to log on to your customer portal, go to subscription resources, and go to the tracking sheet, and you'll see which ones I picked. All right, so the IMT we talked about. MGNI looks lower. It's kind of a little bit sloppy, but basing at the lows. So I like it under the red bars low, under 840 by 950 short, no target. NAPA had a secondary offering that day, so it's not that great of a gap, but the hourly is beautiful. Under the base short, stop over the base. Okay, so under the base short, stop above it. Root, maybe my favorite, but it's not moving. Under 109 short, stop over 122 on root. It's just, I know it's a low price stock, but it can get lower. If it goes to 60 cents, 50 cents, that will be a 50% drop. And then, you see what I mean? So it can still keep going. The SWBI, I don't think is quite ready. I don't think it's based long enough, but it had a really bullish move, completely negated. So higher prices got rejected. If it can tighten up a little bit, go sideways for a couple more days, then I like it short under the base and then stop over that pivot. And SWBI, wow, looks lower. I mean, it just looks lower all the way down to maybe here, which is what? That's $5, $5.50 or so pretty amazing. But again, I would like it to base a little bit more. And then last but not least is the CTMX, which had a gap down on Thursday, and a narrow range bar on Friday. So short under 125, stop over 133. Okay, it's an idea. I'm not going with it just yet, but it looks okay as a watch, and maybe in a day or two it'll be ready. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you're doing well. Hopefully, you're taking advantage of some of the ideas that I share with you on a weekly basis. Now, if you'd like to get my daily list, I do it just once a week, and then to see which plays I'm picking for my own account and for the newsletter, feel free to join us. Link in the description. Your first month is only $49, and then after that it's month to month, so you can cancel anytime you want. No contract, none of that stuff. Check us out. Links in the description. I'm gonna be out next week. No, I misspoke. I'm gonna be out next weekend, so I will not be doing a video next weekend. Okay, but I'll be back the week after. So don't expect a video next weekend, but I'll be back the weekend of the 19th or so. I'm not sure what the date will be. All right. Thank you so much, and enjoy your weekend. Talk to you next in a couple weeks. Thanks so much. Take care, everybody. Ciao.